Hello, everyone. London Cruz, your trusted New Jersey realtor here, and welcome to this video. The purpose of this video is to explain the buying process in New Jersey. If you're interested in investing in real estate in New Jersey, or if you were just wondering regarding what the process was, or if perhaps you just want to know what realtors do, stay tuned and check out this video. The very first step that you need to take when you're interested in purchasing a property is obtain a pre-approval. A pre-approval is absolutely pivotal because it will allow you to determine what your purchasing power is and the amount that you can qualify for a mortgage loan. Now, additionally, a lender will be able to tell you, based on your credit score, your finances, and other pieces of information, how much of a down payment you would need to put down on your loan. In addition, they'll let you know what your closing costs, an estimation of your closing costs would be based on the loan amount that you qualify for. And they'll definitely give you a very good sense of what your monthly mortgage payment would be based on the amount that you qualify for. Now, in regards to closing costs, generally those costs are about 2 to 3% of the loan amount that you are obtaining. So for example, if let's say you qualify for a loan for $400,000, a great rule of thumb is to take 2 to 3% of that number, and that generally is roughly around what your closing costs would be. Now, step number 2 is determine a property that you'd like to go see and that you're interested in based on what it is that you're looking for. Now, this is a very important part of working with a real estate agent like myself. And the reason being is because a real estate agent has access to all types of properties via the MLS. Also, they generally have a good sense of the market in terms of other properties that may be available that are off market, that are not listed online or on the MLS. So working with a realtor at this stage is pivotal because a real estate agent can assist you with finding properties that are suitable for your needs based on exactly what it is that you want and what you're looking for. Now, once those properties have been determined, generally it takes 24 hours to obtain a viewing for a property that you may be interested in. So definitely your real estate agent can go ahead and schedule those viewings for you as long as there's, generally speaking, 24 hours notice. Now, the next step, the third step in the buying process would be to submit an offer on a property that you are interested in. Now, an offer is in the form of a contract template. So that contract will have information such as the amount of the purchase price that you're offering, the amount of the deposit that you're putting down on the contract, closing date, which is the date that officially the ownership of the house transfers, and other pertinent information that's important for the seller to know about your offer. Now, in regards to your offer, that offer is not legally binding until an attorney review process has been conducted. Now, the next step in the buying process is assuming your offer has been accepted, then the attorney review process will officially commence. Essentially, what that is the seller would have an attorney representing them. The buyer would also have an attorney representing them, and both attorneys would negotiate the details of the contract to ensure that there is a meeting of the minds for both parties. Now, generally speaking, that process takes about 3 business days. Now, in this stage of the process, it's absolutely key that the process be concluded as quickly as possible. And the reason why is because if another interested party makes an offer on the property that the seller finds more enticing, that seller can cancel the attorney review process and then go ahead and accept that other offer. So Very, very important that the process is concluded as quickly as possible. Now, once the attorney review process has concluded and there is a meeting of the minds between both parties and an agreement between buyer and seller regarding the finalized contract, that is when then the first deposit would be due on the contract. So the buyer would then have 10 days from the time that the contract is executed to pay the deposit, the first deposit due on the contract. Now that those funds need to be provided to the seller's attorney for the seller's attorney to hold in their trust account, and they will hold those funds until the day of the closing. It's at this stage that very critical and important dates will be determined. So at that point, the attorney will indicate by when the inspection needs to be conducted on the property. They will also indicate any additional dates for any additional deposits that are due for the purchase of the property. They will indicate by when the mortgage commitment needs to be issued by the buyer's lender. And additionally, they will determine a closing date for the closing of the property. Now, it is pivotal that the first deposit be paid by the deadline because at that point, if the buyer is late in paying that deposit, the seller has every right at that point to terminate the contract. And if the contract is terminated, then essentially you are no longer able to purchase that property, and the whole transaction would then be canceled and terminated. Now, the next step in the buying process is to conduct an inspection on the property. Now, conducting an inspection on the property will let you and your realtor know regarding any repairs that may need to be done to the property. Now, this inspection report can be used to negotiate some sort of a credit with the seller, assuming there's repairs that need to be made. Now, if you're purchasing a property such as a bank-owned property, or perhaps even a short sale, for example, those properties are always purchased as is. So the inspections are utilized for your own information, but in terms of the seller, there are no repairs that are made by the seller in those types of transactions. Following the inspection, the buyer's lender will order an appraisal to be done on the property. Now, the appraisal is to determine the market value of the property. So the lender will hire a third-party appraisal company to appraise the property. Your realtor would coordinate that appointment and would ensure access to the property so that the appraiser can come in and complete their report following their appraisal of the property. Now, very important to know and understand that your lender will only lend you as much money as they are told that the property is worth. So the appraisal company will prepare a report, will furnish it to your lender, and based on that appraisal, your lender will determine the amount that they will loan you for the purchase of the property. Now, after the appraisal is conducted, that information will be provided to the lender, and the lender will submit all relevant documentation to their underwriting department for them to review your file for what's called a clear to close. Now, at this point, a closing disclosure is also issued 3 days prior to the scheduled closing date. Now, the next step in the process is to schedule a final walkthrough. So, the purpose of the final walkthrough is to make sure that any requests for repairs to be made to the property have been made. Additionally, to confirm that there's been no additional damage to the property. So basically, you just take a walk through the property with your real estate agent, make sure that everything is great and as it should be. And if there are any issues, those issues need to be brought up to the attorneys. If not, then everything proceeds as scheduled for the closing date the following day. And the final and most exciting stage of the process, closing day. So at the closing, you're going to be signing a ton of paperwork. That's when officially the ownership of the property changes and you finally get the keys to your brand new home. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it very helpful. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, feel free to drop them down below. I'd be more than happy to help. And hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.